Hey everybody, this is Bev Gray from Technique Tuesday. Today I want to show you a whole bunch of different ways that you can use the Fall Favorite stamp set. This is one of those layering stamp sets, and I'm going to show you how you can use it with a stamp press, but also how you can just use it by itself when you're just holding the block to get beautiful layered leaves. I'm also going to show you a little bit about the die and how you can use it to make great cards or make great scrapbook pages and so much more. Let's get started. Now the first way I want to show you how to use this is just using regular old stamping blocks and ink to stamp this. And you can get such beautiful results really with very little effort. Now I start by inking up the outline stamp, and then I'm just going to stamp it onto a little 3x4" card. Once you've got that in place, it makes it really easy to line up the other pieces as you go through and add the layers of color. Now, if you're doing this at home, I would really encourage you to stand up and look straight down through the stamp as you're stamping it down onto the paper. But because I don't want to get in the way of the camera, I'm going to do it trying to keep my head out of the way. And let's see if I can get it lined up. Now, once you've got it stamped down, you can see that this is a dye-based ink, so it's a little mottled looking. It'll spread out over time. But I did a pretty good job of getting that lined up and being able to stamp right over the outline. Now the last step is to add a little bit of detail, and for this case I'm using a red to add just the little highlights and shadows that go on to that leaf. And again, if you're doing this at home, stand up, look straight down through it. But even without a stamp positioner and just looking from a little bit off at an angle, I did pretty good about lining that up. Now if I were going to finish this, I might go ahead and stamp the word Fall Favorites or some other saying from the stamp set. Add a little bit of twine, and then I might put it together with a picture like this on a traditional page or in a pocket page layout. Now one of the problems that people run into sometimes is that they don't have a lot of different colors of ink pads, so I wanted to show you a technique that lets you make beautiful layered leaves but using only 2 ink pads. So here I'm inking it up. This is Onyx Black, and it's a VersaFine ink, and I like it for fine details quite a bit. I'm just stamping that down and straight up. And then next I'm going to take, what color is this? This is Potter's Clay, and I'm going to ink up the stamp. I got a little bit of fuzz on it, so let me get that off. I'm inking up the solid stamp, and instead of stamping it straight onto my project, I'm going to just stamp off onto a piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to do that pretty lightly. So I just stamped off, and now I'm going to go ahead and put it right on top of that other stamp. And so you can see it's a quite a bit lighter shade than where I stamped off. And then the last step in this is to go ahead and take the detail using that same Potter's Clay ink. I'm going to ink that up, and without stamping off, I'm going to go ahead and go right in and layer that right on top. And so here you can see you've got a lovely red leaf with all the details and everything added to it that you could use on your project. And this works great with yellows and greens and a whole bunch of different colors to make the layered leaves. Now another thing I want to show you is that you don't have to use all the layers to make really great cards. So they're designed to be layered, but you don't have to. For this card, our creative team member went and just stamped the outline, so she only used the outline stamp, and then she just flooded the interiors with a little bit of watercolor. Now another way to do this is to not use the detail, but instead just use the outline stamp along with the solid. And here you can see she didn't worry about positioning it, she just got it close enough, and it's still a really beautiful card, so don't worry about getting them perfectly lined up. Now another card that I wanted to show you is this one, and here the solid wasn't used at all. Instead it was just the outline, the detailed outline, and then the detailed interiors to make that lovely card. And in case you were wondering, you can also skip the outline completely and just use the solid with a little bit of the detail on top of it to make a great looking card too. Now you may have noticed that there's also an acorn in this stamp set, and here's an example of how you can use just the acorn to make the background in, using a brown ink pad, and then a little band across the middle using both the solid and the detail, but none of the outline image. Now for all these projects, I also wanted to point out that you can do all the layering, and in addition, there is a set of dies that goes along with it. And it includes 4 dies in it: fall favorites, the acorn mat, and also the leaf mat, so that you can make projects like these with all of the layers and with the die cut pieces. I hope you enjoyed seeing all the different ways you can use the fall favorite stamp set along with the falling leaves dies. If you'd like to see more projects like these, visit our website at techniquetuesday.com. Thanks for watching.